Are you ready to get out of your comfort zone and become a 5%er or a super achiever? On your mark, get set, go! Hello again, everyone. I'm Eli's dad with Project Eli, where we educate, we lead, and we inspire. And this is the second of a two-part series, a short series on getting out of your comfort zone. Why? Because if you keep doing the things that you're comfortable with, you're going to still be the same person that you are. If that's what you want, fantastic. If it's not, then you have to be able to get out of your comfort zone. I'm going to give you 10 steps. Now, last time we got together, we gave you the first 5, which was number 1, to show up, to recognize that you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, to reflect on where, number 2, reflect on where you are, where you want to go. 3, write down your goal. Because when you do that, you make it simple, put it in a simple sentence, create clarity on what you want to achieve. 4th one was to recognize that achieving a particular goal is not the key thing. What's the key thing is that you've changed your identity, you've become that person. The example I gave was somebody that I knew that was kind of a carefree, go-lucky young man. He got promoted into a position of leadership, and his whole identity changed for the better. He became more responsible. He embraced that position. And the 5th point we made last time was to build your confidence in your growth mindset. Recognize that you can make it happen. And how do you make it happen? By getting to a starting line and recognizing that once you get to the starting line, you create momentum. You get to a roadblock and new starting lines will appear. Sometimes you have to look very hard for them, but you'll find them. They will appear, but the key thing is get to that starting line. All right, let's pick it up from there. Number 6, one of the things that prevents people from being super achievers is fear. Fear. Now, you know, when you talk to people, let me give you an example, all right? And this is something that I heard, and I felt this way myself. When they were interviewing Olympic athletes before the Olympic Games. Now, recognize that these folks have been training for 4 or more years, probably most of them their whole lives, in the particular skill that they have that puts them in the Olympics. And you go to the Olympics, you're in front of a world stage. I mean, when you're practicing the high bar as an example, or the balance beam, or the whatever, the floor exercises, yeah, you're doing it, but there's not that many people watching. When you do it at the Olympic Games, the whole world is watching. So the reporter goes up and says, "So, are you a little bit nervous?" And the answer was the same from all of these Olympic athletes. And you know what their answer was? "I'm not afraid, I'm excited. I'm excited." You've got to change that particular situation from being fearful to being excited. That's a key thing. You've done all of the different things. You've practiced, you've rehearsed, you've drilled, practiced, rehearsed. That's how you get to a certain position. And once you get the opportunity, then you say to yourself, all right, I'm here. That is a key element. You've got to change that posture. That's the word I'm looking for. You've got to change your posture from being fearful to being excited. And how do you do that? It's by visualizing yourself achieving that particular goal in advance, seeing it happening. You know, they always talk about Jack Nicklaus, the famous golfer, and he was such a great putter on the green. And they said, "Jack, what's your secret?" He says, "Before I even take the putt, I see the ball going in the hole. I see it happening right in front of me." Malcolm Butler, who made a miraculous interception for one of my favorite teams, the New England Patriots, that won a game. The Seattle Seahawks threw a pass like on the 1-yard line, and he stepped in front of the guy and made the interception. And they asked him, "How did you do that?" He said, well, we had practiced that. I had made that mistake in practice, and I visualized myself making that interception before and winning the game. I had already done it. I had already seen it happen. So the thing is, you got to change that fear into excitement. And what the things you have to do is you just, like you're taking a long journey. Take one baby step, one step at a time. And when you do that, things become clear. You say, what's the next step I can take? What's the next step I can take? And you get your body in motion. And you visualize the next step. But it's one little baby step. It's not, you're not jumping out of an airplane. What you're doing is you're taking small, concise steps towards the finish line. The finish line may be way off in the distance, but you're continuously taking small baby steps. You're learning one thing at a time. You're trying one thing at a time. When I'm coaching basketball and I'm working on, we want to get like a particular, let's say, press in place so that we can use it. The first step is, what's your footwork? What's your footwork? What's the angle that you're going to use to cut the guy off? Use the sideline. One little baby step at a time. And then once you master that, you move on to the next one. Key element. 8th point. Surround yourself with people that support you. Keep company with people that are going to keep you uplifted. The ones that aren't going to shut you down. The ones who will see your enthusiasm and give it back to you, that'll cheer you on. Environment plays a big role. They don't make statues for critics. You've heard that before. There's nothing more deflating than having your spirit wrecked because someone's lingering pessimistically around the corner telling you can't do this, you can't do that. Unfortunately, some of the time that particular trait comes from the people that are the closest to you. I'm talking about your friends. I'm talking about your relatives that say, oh, you can't do that, because they want you to play it safe, play it safe, play it safe. People that are achievers step out there. They take the next baby step. And it's relatively safe because you've gotten to that point, you're getting to the next point. All right, so if you fail, what's next? You go back and you find a new starting line. As simple as that. But to make it easier for yourself, you want to surround yourself with a support group that thinks as you think. Once again, constant negativity is so deflating. I have a friend that is about the same age as I, and he's not in great health, and he in the past he's done some tremendous things for me. I kind of want to cut him out of my life, but he's done some really nice things for me in the past. So one of the things that I do is I make it a point to speak with him once a week, but I try and make my phone calls with him very short. Why? Because they're always the same. Oh, I got this problem. Oh, I got that problem. He's doing this to me. That's not going to work. Come on. I have a loyalty to him as a friend, but just as they say on the airplane, put the mask on yourself before you put it on, to the people that you're with. You have to be under control to be in control. And I've talked to him, I've spoken to him about, you need to do this, what you're doing. He makes the same mistakes over and over and over again. There's opportunities in front of him. He's had some great opportunities. He's not doing it. I can want it for him. I can encourage him. I can't make him do it. On the other hand, I'm not going to let his negative rhetoric bring me down. I have a time limit on what I'll talk with him. Is most of the time what I do, I say, hello, how you doing? Oh, terrible. And then he goes off into a monologue for about 5 or 10 minutes, and I listen to it, and I say, I hope things get better for you. I'll speak to you next week. I really got to get going right now. They're calling me. Boom, I'm gone. All right? You can't have that negativity if you want to be an achiever. You've got to have that confidence to get out of your comfort zone to take the risk. Which brings me to the 9th point, which is to not take yourself so seriously. How many times have you heard successful people, when they reflect, they say, so tell us, how did you do it? And they have a real funny story to tell you about the mistakes that they made and how this happened and so on. And you know, at the time I thought it was the world's biggest calamity, but it turned out being a positive for me because it made me think this way. Do you follow what I'm saying? Don't take yourself so seriously. You know, and you fail, everyone's going to fail, and that's a part of being a success. The people that you've heard the saying, if you want to be a success, you need to fail more often. Dust yourself off, put on some new knee pads. What's the meaning of a win if you've never lost? Does that make sense? That just makes it so much sweeter. Which brings us to our 10th point, which is to focus on the results. What is it that keeps somebody going? The elixir is progress. If you've ever spoken to somebody, let's suppose you haven't seen somebody in a year, and you look at them and you say, my goodness, you've lost 25 pounds. How much have you lost? They go, yep, I've lost 30 pounds. I really did it. Say, how did you do it? I said, just a little bit every single day. You know what they did? They put themselves on the scale every single day. They saw that they lost a little bit. I'm encouraged. I'm going to keep it up. They did the same thing the next day. Progress is the elixir to success. Enjoy the journey. How do you enjoy the journey? By celebrating the small victories. That is such a key element. Celebrate the little things, the little progresses that you made. What that will do is that will allow you to have the right mindset to keep moving forward. All right, so let's go over those 5 things that we talked about today as a review. First of all, reframe your fear from fear into excitement. Why? Because you've been preparing for this moment. You're not afraid. You're excited about it. That's the way you got to be. Take one small step at a time. One small step for man, make it a giant leap for your mankind. Little, tiny, baby steps. That will keep the clarity right in front of you. Keep surrounding yourself with people that are positive, people that sympathize and are enthusiastic about the objective that you want to achieve. Get rid of the people, or minimize the time you spend with the people that take the air out of your balloon. If you want to get out of your comfort zone, one of the things is you have to have the guts, the courage, the stones, whatever you want to call it, and you're not going to get that if you're listening to critics all the time. Keep your inner group, the people that are enthusiastic about the same goal, the same cause, the same objective that you have, on a front burner, and on a way back burner, keep the negative people. Number 9, don't take yourself too seriously. Remember that you're going to have failures, and you know what's great about it is you're going to laugh about them after you reach the top of the mountain. How did I get here? Well, I kept slipping on this one place. Boy, I finally figured out how to get there, and here's how I did it. Don't take yourself too seriously. That's how you overcome failure. Remember, the people that are successful are the ones that have failed the most often. And finally, number 10, focus on the stuff that you've accomplished. Focus on the progress you've made. Progress is the elixir. It is the encouraging factor that allows you to continue. The fastest way to become successful is to make learning a habit. Learn how to get out of your comfort zone. I've given you 10 steps. And because we'll never end a meeting on a philosophical note, why don't we get out there and charge? I'm Eli's dad.